la costa,
unida la costa,
unida la sierra,
unida la sierra,
unida la selva contigo, Perú. Unido el trabajo, unido el deporte, unidos el norte, el centro y el sur.
Toma.
A triunfar,
peruanos,
que somos hermanos, que se haga victoria nuestra gratitud. Te daré la vida y cuando yo muera me uniré en la tierra contigo, Perú.
Vamos allá.
Te daré la vida y cuando yo muera me uniré en la tierra contigo, Perú.
There is no duality, no difference between the ordinary world and the nirvana world. They're the same world, but what makes the difference is the point of view.
Congratulations on your Inka project fair. Your attendance and participation will certainly change lives through the 37 projects covered in the 7 areas of focus. As you partner with other clubs and districts, remember the results transform lives and change the world one child, one village at a time. As we close this year event, let me thank DG Ed Oscar and Governor Anna for your support. Let me also encourage you and other Rotarians to get involved and attend the second Inka project in September of 2022. Together, everyone accomplishes more. Teamwork brings success. Thank you for your participation and best wishes as you complete your projects for the 21-22 Rotary year.
Estimados amigos del Distrito 4455 de Perú, invitados especiales de todo el mundo que están participando durante, o que han participado durante esta semana de esta Feria de Proyectos Inka 2021. Qué gran gestión, qué gran actividad. Solo me resta felicitar a todos los clubes del distrito por la presentación de más de 37 proyectos en las distintas áreas de interés que fueron tratados cada día de la semana, culminando con un gran éxito. Esto demuestra un gran liderazgo y de parte de la coordinación regional de la Fundación Rotary. Felicito el liderazgo de la gobernadora Ana Cecilia y al gran equipo de trabajo del Comité Distrital de la Fundación Rotaria, Oscar y toda la gente que trabaja con esto. Esto requiere de una planificación, esto requiere de un gran trabajo. Pero estoy seguro que la finalización de esta feria dará como resultado proyectos que ayudarán a ciudadanos de nuestra región, con gran impacto para la imagen de nuestra organización. Felicitaciones. Y solo me resta invitarlos, amigos, a participar de la próxima edición de esta Feria de Proyectos Inka en septiembre del año 2022, donde estoy seguro tendremos muchísimos más proyectos. Habida cuenta del éxito alcanzado en esta primera edición, el próximo año tendremos muchos más proyectos y mucho más participación de todos los clubes. Reitero, felicito a la gobernadora Ana Cecilia y a todo el equipo del comité de la Fundación por esta excelente tarea. Y a los clubes que participaron, que verán nacer en ellos la pasión por Fundación al poder dar a sus comunidades el resultado de estos proyectos tratados. Felicitaciones y hasta el próximo año.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to be here with you all today. My name is Keith Madden, and I am the manager for the Environment Area of Focus here at Rotary. And some key parts of my role are managing and developing the environment portfolio of grants at the Rotary Foundation, and also working closely with Rotarians to develop the highest quality and most impactful environment projects possible. So I'd like to tell you all a little bit more about where we're at with the area of focus and about those aspects of my day-to-day work as it relates to grants in the environment today. So as many of you already know, the environment is our newest area of focus at Rotary, and this came into being when last year both the board of directors and trustees unanimously approved the new area of focus. And the cause officially launched just a few months ago on July 1st, meaning new opportunities for projects and grants focused on the environment. So, in fact, Rotary had some previous experience with the environment, and through the existing areas of focus, particularly through WASH, water, sanitation, and hygiene, as well as the community and economic development area of focus, Rotary worked on several projects whose primary aim was through a different area of focus, but that also would have spillover benefits in different environmental dimensions. And the Rotary Foundation actually contributed $18 million worth of grants in relation to the environment over the 7-year period from 2014 to 2020, the 2020 fiscal year. And so that means that Rotary has been working on environmental issues, particularly at a community-based level for many years already and across several continents. So this provided already some basis for Rotary moving into the new area of focus. And to provide you an example of what these types of projects looked like prior to the launch of the new area of focus, this was a very good environmentally related project that the foundation funded previously. It was a community and economic development project primarily, but that also had environmental benefit. And this was through, this was hosted locally by clubs in Sao Paulo and Paraná states in Brazil. And it was a recycling program that was expanded to include additional training, accommodate more types of recycled materials. It was actually quite effective in making a dent in the quite substantial waste stream of Sao Paulo here, as noted here, that it diverted 100,000 tons of waste in Sao Paulo that would have already otherwise gone to landfills. It was instead recycled and was able to be reused for future uses. But what's really exciting about the environment area of focus is now giving Rotary members even more opportunities to increase our impact. So the environment area of focus opens up new dimensions of the environment, climate, natural resources that Rotary members in some cases have wanted to work on, but didn't quite know how or what the best approach would be. So now the new area of focus provides some very interesting pathways to accommodate those interests. And this is really, the area of focus is really meant to accommodate a wide variety of Rotarian interests in this broad area. And we have set out 4 overarching objectives that we would like to see projects work towards in one way or another. So a given project could take any number of approaches in the environment area of focus, but we'd like to see it produce a positive outcome in at least one of these 4 areas. So these overall objectives are conservation of biodiversity and natural habitats, sustainable livelihoods, here referring to environmentally sustainable livelihoods that have a low impact on the environment and minimize harm. Climate change mitigation, so here talking about reduction of emissions of greenhouse gases or absorption of emissions already in the atmosphere, as well as environmental justice approaches. So the projects, in theory, would touch on at least one of these in terms of the impact they're producing, but they can also touch on multiple through whatever approach they take. So for example, if we look at these top two, conservation and sustainable livelihoods, Rotarians could design an agroforestry project, for example, that produces some economic benefit and pilots a sustainable local economic model, such as food production or livestock that provide dairy for a local community, while at the same time providing additional high quality habitat for local species and improving the quality of surrounding ecosystems. Or for example, you could have a project that produces a positive outcome both for climate and environmental justice if Rotary clubs are tackling an air pollution problem in a neighborhood that has historically suffered some sort of undue environmental harm and is looking to correct that pollution issue while at the same time reducing emissions that contribute to climate change. And in relation to these four overarching objectives, there are a wide variety of action goals, or these are kind of the pathways that environment projects in the area of focus would take. These are actually the 8 goals that are already laid out in the area of focus policy statements, which are available on My Rotary. And in the environment section of that document, you can find this list of 8 categories of goals and some specifics about each one. So a given environment project could take any approach of these, whether it's working with energy systems, volunteer groups for monitoring of specific species. It could take legal or public health approaches to produce a given environmental outcome. But consistent with all the other areas of focus, of course, for the purpose of grant-funded programs, these would have to be actions that are going to produce a measurable outcome and sustainable impact over the long term. So in that area of focus policy statements document and in these 8 areas that I've mentioned, that outlines basically the eligibility criteria for the area of focus. And in that same document, we also lay out a few things that are not considered eligible for global grants. So these are more things that are kind of one-off environmental projects that are less likely to tackle at scale sort of a more systemic approach to solving the root cause of environmental issue, but are nonetheless important and good contributions to the environment. Therefore, these types of things that are excluded from global grants may be a better fit for local projects that clubs may want to pursue. So to give you all an idea of kind of where we're at with the area of focus and what grant applications we are seeing, we're only a few months in since the launch of the environment area of focus. So we have received many inquiries about projects that are moving along the application phase, and a handful have gotten far enough along to send in their complete applications. And most of these projects so far are in the range of $30,000 to $70,000 US in terms of their overall budget. And we still have about, in total, less than $1 million US in terms of projects that have already kind of gone through the full process and have been approved, but many are in the pipeline, and we expect as we get later into this Rotary year for that amount to keep growing more and more. In terms of project types, some that we've already seen come up in applications multiple times include sustainable approaches to food production systems. For example, we've had one project that takes kind of a agroecology or permaculture approach In Peru, it was proposed in concert between an international sponsor in the US and a local club in Peru, as well as a local NGO. And they were working on introducing a more sustainable organic food production system using greenhouses for healthy fruits and vegetables that otherwise wouldn't reach such a high level of productivity in this given area in Peru. But also done in a way that preserves local ecosystems and can also, if the community is able to meet their subsistence needs, is also able to sell extra produce for a profit. Other project types that are coming up and that in fact are a great fit for Rotary are natural climate solutions projects. So here referring to reforestation or mangrove restoration projects. These are the types of things that are going to have a benefit for local biodiversity, for people and nature, but also, you know, with ecosystems like tropical forests. So mangroves happen to be natural systems that capture and pull carbon and other greenhouse gases out of the atmosphere, so have a positive contribution in terms of climate as well. We've also seen projects related to wildlife conservation of many varieties, waste and recycling, projects that are design, you know, effective, well-designed trainings for local peoples who are managing natural resources that are valuable to them, as well as several renewable energy system approaches, in some cases tied in with particular underprivileged groups and through an environmental justice angle. Also important to point out here that just like all the other areas of focus, we also accommodate global grant scholarship applications for master's applicants within the environment area of focus as well, as long as there is good alignment with the types of environmental work Rotary is doing. So hopefully that gives you a good initial idea of where things are at so far in these first couple months since the launch of the new area of focus within the foundation, as well as some of the criteria that are guiding our projects toward high impact. And here's some of the frequently asked questions that are already come up. Now you know that since July 1, the area of focus is active for grant applications, so we're already receiving many types of environmental projects and examining them for eligibility. And also, if you are already thinking about project ideas but haven't yet started, or even if you have already started putting together an application but have questions about eligibility or how to best design that project under the new area of focus, you can feel free to reach out to me personally. My email is listed there at the bottom. And as we're developing and rolling out more environment criteria, I am helping many Rotarians evaluate their environment projects kind of on a case-by-case basis to make sure it lines up with the directions that Rotary is going. So don't hesitate to reach out. And of course, there are other resources such as cadre members who have already been assembled, particularly, in particular, environment cadre have been assembled, which is something that also interested Rotarians could reach out about if they're interested in joining as well. And so in addition to the cadre, which I've just mentioned, SRAG, which is the corresponding Rotary Action Group, is full of experts across many fields and dedicated volunteers who have knowledge of many fields related to the environment and are another great resources for development of environment projects. The area of focus policy statements document, which I cited before, that's available on My Rotary and is kind of your first stop toward developing a project in line with the criteria that we have. And here's some other resources as well listed here on the slide. So I'd also like to point out that you know, in that area of focus policy statements document, we already have some criteria well established about different project types, but we're also developing additional criteria, kind of more specific things about what does or doesn't fit by project type, that will be released later this year with kind of in a package of guidelines, and that will provide some more details coming soon. But everyone is in Rotary can already apply for any project type, and we'll evaluate on a case-by-case basis until then.
Well, we are Rotary Club Cusco. In this opportunity, we are going to present you the project Raising Population Awareness about the risk of the practice of grasslands burning and provision of equipment and materials for the firefighting department in the Cusco department. Okay, this is a cultural problem of the rural population. As you can see or watch in this picture, forest fire emergencies at the departmental level. Cusco is the first of all the country, okay, with 572 forest fire emergencies, okay, between the years 2003 and 2020, okay. The next department is Apurímac with 330. Okay. Well, in this picture, you can see the annual trend of forest fire emergencies. As you can see, it's an exponential behavior. If we look, for example, the year 2007, and then the year 2019. Okay. Well, this project is a humanitarian one whose objective is to help the population that is in vulnerability through training and equipment to fight forest fires. Since Cusco is one of the poorest departments in which the highest levels of forest fire are registered. Objectives promote awareness among the population about the risk of burning practices and their consequences in forest fires. In this way, to develop a culture of conservation and care of ecosystems in the department of Cusco. In another hand, contribute with the provision of equipment against forest fires to the fire companies in the Department of Cusco to reduce the effects of the disaster, improve fire management and use. And the budget is approximately 110,000 and $909. Thank you. Any question or comment? We are waiting for this.
Este es nuestro parque ecológico y necesita agua. La instalación de 100 atrapanieblas captará 430 metros cúbicos de agua al año y con eso incrementaremos nuestro arbolado. Amigos rotarios, hagámoslo juntos. Trabajo para nuestra comunidad, vida para nuestro planeta. El Parque Ecológico de La Molina cuenta con una extensión de 200 hectáreas y se encuentra dentro del ecosistema de Lomas de Villa María. Se conserva como parte del ecosistema de lomas costeras, ya que éstas se constituyen el hábitat de la flora y fauna local, así como de aves migratorias. En la actualidad, las laderas del Parque Ecológico tienen un área forestada de 20 hectáreas, entre las cuales encontramos árboles xerófitos, cactáceas, suculentas, arbustivas, herbáceas. Estas son regadas por agua potable mediante un sistema de electrobomba que abastece en la zona alta de las laderas unos tanques de agua. Su fauna está comprendida por aves, lagartijas, culebras, artrópodos y vizcachas.
Hello, dear friends. Nice to present to you our projects. The first one is called Implementation of the Botanical Garden of Surite, located in the district of Anta and the region of Cusco in Peru. The first and the main objective is to develop a Hermoplast bank, which will preserve and conserve different native species of the region, forming a space with the appropriate implementation and its exposure to the visit to the scientific community, to the local students, and of course with the participation of the community of Surite. In our project, we intend to implement the current Surite Botanical Garden, in which native botanical species of the high Andean area of Cusco are conserved, as well as the conservation of the hermoplast of native Andean species of Cusco of Peru, like the quina tree, the quinine tree, to be exposed by the inhabitants of the place, visitors and researchers. It is intended to repower the Surite Botanical Garden in the most important in the south region of Peru. We try to conserve and protect native flora species of the area, and it would become a bank of natural store of native hermoplast. In the beneficiaries, we can say that the project promotes the conservation of the native flora and fauna of the local area, but as well indirectly benefiting the population of the Surite district and the population, of course, and the region of Cusco and Peru. Directly, there are beneficiaries, the farmers that are interested in the trees to conserve them in their fields. we have in the Surite Botanical Garden, the purpose to improve the quality of life of the inhabitants and promote scientific research in the area. Our alliances and our projects are according to the SDGs, especially in the climate change and in the maintenance of the flora and fauna in the local areas. The decent work and the equal treatment with the women would be the most important factors of our projects. Thank you. We hope to get your attention. Thank you.
Are you tired? Overwhelmed and overloaded by these kind of issues? We are. So, we decided to push the magic button to disappear all your problems. Oh, it's true. We didn't. Instead, we created something better.
Green Tool. Green Tool. We decided to use a school in Kimanao and teach the students of 3rd and 4th grade of high school about environmental education and project management. First, we teach them subjects like environmental problems, solutions, circular economy, and more. And then we give them the tools to develop a project that will benefit the community. From all the projects, one is chosen and developed with guidance in the process. But all the projects go into a database in our website so private investors could watch them and help their teams to develop them. Hey, wait a second. But how could we do that? How could they do that?
We will provide an amount that will serve as capital. Contact institutions, build a website, logistics, etc., etc. And all that's gonna cost $31,000. I know what you're thinking. How do we know it's gonna work? Well, we made a prototype of Within, and the students show us how it goes. So, what are you waiting for? Become a green ruler and green tool with us.
Humanitarian Ecological Project Francisco Bolognesi Forest, largest ecological lawn in the city of Arequipa, Peru. Rotary Club, Arequipa, Selva Alegre, District 4455. The Francisco Bolognesi Ecological Forest is the largest lawn in the city of Arequipa. It's a large urban forest reserve with more than 20,000 trees of xerophytic species that have lower water consumption, such as the pine, jacarandá, casuarinas, bilco, Huarango. Especially rescuing the quinoa tree, currently in extinction. The main objective is to reduce the heat island effect, which is a phenomenon of thermal origin that occurs in urban areas that consist of the existence of a different temperature that tends to be higher during the night, like a local greenhouse effect, since the gases are locked in one place. The number of 20,000 trees generates a fresh and cool climate. The beneficiaries are the citizens from Arequipa City, with a population of 1,008,000 people, according to the national census of 2017. Another benefit is the use as a biological laboratory for universities students, school children, technicians in the specialty dedicated to this science. Also, for ecological tourism. The forest has brought important fauna such as bees, butterflies, and other insects, birds, and rodents. I must rescue the presence of eagles that nest in the treetops.
Arequipa is located 2,500 meters above sea level and its climate is temperate desert. In Arequipa, it rains only 30 days per year between the months of January and February. Therefore, the forest is irrigated by extracting water from the river through a pumping and drip irrigation system. The 20,000 tree forest is dying because the irrigation system is 15 years old. It has become very small and must be renewed. Our project consists of saving the forest, renewing the drip irrigation system, pumps, hoses, as well as the soil treatment. We have the workforce as well as the budget for the maintenance of the new irrigation system. The cost of the global grant is $32,080, or the project can also be carried out as a club-to-club project in 3 stages. Support us to save the forest.
Greetings from Cusco to all of you, dear friends. In this time, in this moment, we present to you the project denominated Implementation of the Butterfly and Garden in the Chontachaca area, district of Cosñipata, province of Paucartambo, region of Cusco. The most important purpose of this project is to conserve and protect native flora species in the area. With the implementation of spaces for an orchid garden and a butterfly garden, there will be the exposure of these beauties to the different communities, like scientific community, students in the area, the same population in the district, and located in the community of Chontachaca, in the district of Cosñipata, province of Paucartambo, It is very within the buffer zone of the Manu National Park. It proposes the implementation of a space where the natural vegetation of the place is recovered and creates a natural conservation space. Having native species of plants and creating an area for the refuge of wild animals in the area also proposes the implementation of the orchid garden and butterfly garden with the aim of protecting and maintaining the diversity of the species in the place. Our project is based on scientific and professional quality. The exposure of native species is a source of knowledge and delight to the eyes because the location of the project is on the way to the Manu National Park. This area has been continuously disturbed by local inhabitants due to the search and extension's continuous areas of cultivation and grazing areas losing more and more areas of floristic diversity and life zones of many species of fauna. The project would ensure the conservation of the environment and among them the flora and wild fauna as well as the visits of an important group of researchers, tourists, becoming a mandatory stop on the road to the Manu National Park and a source of income for local people. At the moment, the tourists do not stop in Chontachaca, they just passed away. The beneficiaries directly are the residents of this Chontachaca community and the residents of the Cosñipata district, this being a mandatory stopping point due to the diversity of flora and fauna conserved in the area. They will participate in the project and visits to the Chontachaca Botanical Garden would be favored to improvement in the quality of life of the inhabitants. Likewise, the beneficiaries are the general population through the conservation of the biodiversity of flora and conservation of other ecosystemic services, such as the regulation and conservation of water sources, capture of CO2, CO and other greenhouse gases, minimization of the greenhouse effect and reduction of climate change, according to the actual goals of the NGO. Our alliances and our projects are according to the SDGs, especially in the climate change and in the maintenance of the flora and fauna in the local areas. The decent work and the equal treatment with the women would be the most important factors of our projects. Thank you.
Dear visitors, Rotary Club La Esperanza de Chaclacayo, Lima, District 4455 presents the project A Green Footprint on the Road. Our objective is to contribute to improve the food and nutrition of families care for in communal kitchens, especially women, girls, and adolescents in vulnerable situations. For this, we are going to train the residents, enable agricultural terraces and access to water on communal land to produce vegetables in agroecological systems and promote the population to self-consumption, diversifying the family diet, and generate production surpluses for self-support. The members of our club are going to work with the communities that most need in our district to improve their quality of life and nutrition. These communities are made up of people with limited resources And by creating biogardens on the slopes of the hills, we will be able to improve their diet, as well as give them the option of having a source of income that ensures a better quality of life. What do we want to achieve in these communities that live on the hills around the district? We want to promote knowledge and practice regarding the production of various species of vegetables with agroecological ways of production, in addition to complementing and improving the population's diet for self-consumption in popular dining rooms, diversifying the family diet, generate surplus production for self-support and creation of small businesses to increase family income. How are we going to work with the organic gardens? We are going to prepare agricultural terraces on the slopes of the hills, as the first settlers of our country ancestrally did, and guide the nowadays settlements of the area with the help of agronomist engineers to sow, drip irrigation, and collection of the production at appropriate times for them. To achieve an exchange of merchandise between the different popular dining rooms to complement the daily diet of the families around the communal kitchen. We are confident that you will support us in this project that will contribute to the development and improvement of life of our communities. Thanks for your help in this big and beautiful project.
Green Hope project of Rotary sponsored by Rotary Club Inka, Rotary Club Inka Sur, Rotary Club Chincha, Rotary Club New Palpa, Rotary Club Pisco, Rotary Club Julio Delgado de Cusco, and Rotary Huancavelica will benefit all the farmers in the areas where the work will be done. The project is designed to plant 1 million pine trees in the highlands of our region, from 2,500 to more than 2,500 meters above sea level, with the participation of the Rotary Club of Chincha, Pisco, Nazca, Palpa, Huancavelica, Ayacucho, and Cusco. This project is thought to favor the community with many advantages, such as contribute to mitigate negative effects of global warming. Pines clean the environment of carbon dioxide, releasing oxygen. 2. They fulfill economic functions since after 5 years they provide us with edible symbiotic mushrooms which are consumed locally and exported abroad. 3. Pine plants improve the amount of water in the area where they are grown. 4. They protect their soil from erosion. 5. Improve the climate and landscape and after 15 years provide wood. These are some of the tools that will be used: pickaxe, shovel, wheelbarrow, buckets, winches, ropes, helmets, brushes, and others. An important part is the irrigation, which is divided into processes: nursery protection infrastructure, fences, curtains, windbreaks, protection covering of almacigado beds and peeling, substrate preparation, disinfection of the farm substrate, seed soaking, repotting, preparation of bags, sowing in bags, extraction of plants for definitive fill. Infrastructure for various protections, fences, curtains, and windows. Soil preparation, soil with little stoniness. Texture, sand loam, silt loam, slightly acid pH. Substrates, sand, organic soil, peat. Nursery protection infrastructure, fences and hedges. Fences to protect the nursery from animals and strangers. Windbreaks, synthetic netting support by fire fence number 16 and wooden post. Path between the plantation 0.40 0.60 meters. Substrate preparation. Soil. It must be loose, aerated with infiltration capacity. The most commonly used is 132 sand, earth and organic soil. Disinfection of the substrate prevents diseases. 40% formaldehyde, 100 centimeter and 10 liters of water disinfects 2 meters quadrat meters of substrate. Cover with plastic for 48 hours, uncover and leave for 2 days. Remove and aerate under the almaciga. Fish place the gravel 5-6 cm, common soil 10 cm, substrate 10-15 cm. Fill the bed with substrate and label. Soaking. Soak the seeds for 24 hours to soften the cuticula and facilitate germination. Distribute seeds broadcast or in lines. Cover seeds with a substrate in a layer not exceeding 2 times the size of the seed. Turn lightly with a roller so that the seed comes in contact with the substrate water with a fine rain watering can. Repeat. If it is done at 45-55 days, 6 to 8 centimeters in height. Extract the plant with tools and place in a bucket with water. Method 1. Soil. Mark the areas to be planted and make dimples with a piece of wood. Place the plant in the dimples and fill with soil. Method 2. Sieve the substrate 3-1-1, soil, sand, and turbo. The bag should not be too full and the substrate compact. Water the bags filled with substrate 1 day before replanting. With a replicator, make a hole and plant the seedling up to the level of the neck. Fill with prepared substrate and press lightly around the seedling so that the root makes contact with the substrate and facilitates the establishment. The cover. It should be placed at a height of 50 centimeters and it is removed progressively after a month when it is noticed to take off. The objective is concentrate heat and humidity and promote plants' growth. To protect the plants from damage caused by frost, strong winds, hailstorms, and insects. Classification of plants for final fill. 12 months after repacking, to facilitate extraction and not to break the roots, the plant should be moist 1 day in advance. With the help of a shovel, remove the seedlings and take them to a shaded shed for selection. The selected plant should be 25 to 35 cm high. Water lightly and put cover. This is the end of the process.
Hello everyone, we are Rotary Club Arequipa Soncoiquilla, and this is the home for children, San Aníbal de Francia. This children's home houses children with special needs between the ages of 7 and 18. It's one of the few places in the city that houses boys with special needs that were abandoned by their parents. This place not only provides food and shelter, but also provides education for the children. The main economic income this home receives comes from donations. Most of the time, these donations are not enough, and that's why we decided to create this project. The project, called Sowing Hope for a Healthy Life, involves the creation of a sustainable organic garden within the limits of the home for children. The objective of this project is to promote the well-being for the children from San Aníbal de Francia through environmental care, knowledge, and skills development. need your help to make this project true. Let's help the children from San Aníbal de Francia. They will be eternally grateful. Rotary Club, Arequipa, Soncoiquilla.
Las buenas obras no son solo lo único que hay en Rotary. Son expresiones de algo más. Por debajo de las buenas acciones de Rotary hay un poder invisible. Es el poder de la buena voluntad. Queridos amigos, hemos llegado al final de este maravilloso evento. 7 días donde no solo aprendimos un poco más de nuestras áreas de interés, sino que conocimos los 37 proyectos de nuestros clubes rotarios presentaron al mundo. Proyectos que están diseñados para cambiar la vida de las personas y desarrollar nuestras comunidades. Quiero agradecer a todos los clubes que trabajaron y se involucraron presentando estos lindos proyectos. Y a todos los clubes y rotarios que asistieron y presenciaron nuestra feria. Quiero agradecer también al presidente del Comité Distrital de la Fundación Rotaria, nuestro amigo Rotario Oscar Torres, y a todos y cada uno de los miembros del mismo comité, por el arduo trabajo realizado para que esta feria se haga realidad. Al Comité Internacional por la magnífica difusión de la feria con nuestros pares en el extranjero, a los cadres Perú, al equipo de subvenciones, al equipo de comunicación que se encargó de sociabilizar la feria a través de las redes y que se encargó de la confección de flyers, videos, del manejo del Zoom, webinar, etc. Agradecer muy en especial a los gerentes de las áreas de interés de Evanston por su apoyo y disposición para la capacitación diaria en la feria. Rotarios del mundo. El Distrito 4455 de Perú les ha mostrado orgullosamente nuestro país y los hemos invitado a visitarnos. Les reitero, los vamos a recibir con los brazos abiertos. Y ahora quiero, a nombre de todos los clubes que presentaron sus proyectos en la feria, pedirles que confíen en nosotros, se unan a nuestros sueños de hacer estos proyectos realidad y sean nuestros socios en el servicio patrocinando cada uno de estos 37 proyectos. No nos vamos a defraudar. Quiero terminar mis palabras dando por clausurada la primera feria de proyectos virtual Inka Project Fair e invitarlos a la segunda Inka Project Fair 2022. Juntos servimos para cambiar vidas. Gracias.